Good evening and welcome to CanHammer, your stop for 40K from the Great White North. Today's show is episode 64. It's a 40K show all about the new Tau and a 40K event we attended. It's all Tau, was it Talktober?
Yep.
So for people that have never tuned in before, we always basically say our kind of topic of the show up front. So we'll let you know it's a 40K show tonight. So even though we may touch on some AOS stuff, there wasn't a lot released, so spoiler there, but we always kind of tell you what it is so you can choose to tune in or tune out. Last show was an AOS show, so if you hit our iTunes feed, you'll be able to listen to that if you want pure AOS. As usual, I am Chris, at CanHammer Chris on Twitter, and today I am joined by, from Ottawa, Ontario, Mr.
Logan McLaren from OnePlus Armor, at OnePlus Logan on Twitter.
And back from Woodstock, Ontario is...
Rob McCallum. Same guy.
Oh, he's back. He's alive. He's not dead.
Woo!
I'm pretty close to being dead, but that's okay.
I'm surprised you even made it, Nick. Isn't the Jays game still going, buddy?
No, they got crushed.
Did it end? Oh, it was the 6th, and I turned it off to come prep for this.
It's 14-2, I think, was the final.
Oh my
score.
god.
They got beat up pretty bad.
Oh.
That just hurts my my Canadian pride a little bit. So our website is canhammer.com if you want more information and links and past episodes. To there, we also have links to some of our subsidiaries and allied organizations. This is the third time we are streaming live on Twitch TV using the OnePlus Armor YouTube channel's Twitch feed. They're a pretty cool channel. Check them out. They do video battle reports for War Machine 40K, AOS, not so much. They should do more, but a couple other stuff. So check them out. This Twitch stream is happening every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Times if you want to tune in and ask some questions. So I guess we're going to start off. We're going to go right into the hobby. I guess we'll start with you, Logan. What have you been up to in the hobby the last couple weeks?
Last couple of weeks, I have been working on a Khorne Demonkin army that I was going to be taking to a tournament a couple weeks ago, which we'll talk about that tournament later on. But yeah, so I painted up a Brass Scorpion, 26 Cultists, 18 Flesh Hounds, and 2 Chaos Lords in the period of about 3 weeks. And I've been taking a break since then, but I've got... next up, I've got the new Storm Surge here. This is half of him to paint up, as well as a Calexis Assassin for Du Bois in a couple weeks.
Sweet. So that sounds like you've been pretty busy.
Yep.
Now, when you were painting those Chaos guys, like what were you doing? Like what specifically? Like you were painting just the cultists, right?
Well, the Chaos Lords I rebased and did some touch-ups and conversions on, because they were originally Skull Crushers from Fantasy, and I wanted to turn them into Chaos Lords on Juggernauts. So swapped out the arms, put them on round bases, did sort of scenic bases for them. Past that, it was Flesh Hounds, which I really just did a simple scheme on, like a nice cork base with some flock and sand. Basically dry brushed a few layers of red, did some highlights. And then the other big thing was this guy over here, the Brass Scorpion, that I finished. And of course broke on the way back, so I'm still in the process of repairing him.
Yeah, that's an awesome model, eh? With the did you see like all the bodies are like clawed inside the back of it?
It's pretty morbid.
Yeah, it's pretty actually and realistic. Like the bodies look real.
Yeah, it's a really cool model.
Yeah, sweet. So well, I guess we'll get into how that thing performed because I'm dying to hear about it. So I guess that'll go on to Ron. What have you been up to in the hobby, buddy?
Well, we got the 40K thing coming up. I haven't had much time to do much of anything, to be perfectly honest. But I have put together all my Thunderwolf cav, and I got together about 12 bikes, I think it is. So that's done. I got to get the what's that skimmer called that the Dark Angels use? The one that gives cover, Shroud or whatever.
Oh, I know which one. I'm just trying to think of the name.
It's the Dark Shroud, isn't it?
Dark Shroud, yeah.
Dark Shroud, yeah. The Dark Shroud, I got that half built, and then I got to move on to Samuel, and I don't know. It's a whole bunch of crap that I'm not gonna be able to get together in 2 weeks, so I'm gonna have to borrow somebody else's models in order to play in New York there.
The boys, yeah.
At the boys. So far so good. Slowly but surely coming along. Just slow. That's all.
Did you get a practice game in? Was that you?
No, I haven't got a practice game in yet.
Oh, I thought you went to Joe's to play some 40K.
No, it was Caleb. I want to get a practice game in, but I don't know if I'm going to have the time. The practice games might be coming in January and February, I'm thinking.
Okay, and that's a boys. Rock on. So I guess that goes to me. I was working on warp spiders, so I picked up enough formations to do 3 units of 5 warp spiders with X arches, yeah, whatever,
X
and
arc.
then X arcs, and then so I had to paint up those guys for the tournament. I didn't quite get them done, but I got their bases essentially done, and I got them base coated, and I just need to do some highlights on a lot of the army, getting the Eldar done. And I've been working on building some of my Stormcast Eternals because there's a tournament coming up that I wanted to go to, but it turns out I can't go anymore, so I'm pretty gutted. Because I was like looking forward to getting those guys out at a proper event and seeing if I can crush some skulls, you know?
Yeah.
You know, practice games are one thing, but tournaments are where you test your mettle.
Especially after our top 5 list a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I still need to buy that one guy. I went to Fandom 2 in Ottawa. They didn't have him. So I'm like, ugh, need this guy. Don't want to order him yet. I don't have enough to make any kind of online order worthwhile. I don't have enough of that I need. So that's my hobby. Not a whole lot. Just did some painting. I redid the hobby room, if you can see behind me. I'm a douchebag, and I hung up all my plaques and put all my trophies on display because that's just douchiness of me.
As you should.
Well, they were like just taking up space on a shelf, and it was either throw them out or hang them on the wall. So I chose the one option. But yeah, that took a lot of work, man. Like I was going through, I have a lot of Warhammer shit. I found just a big pile of shrink wrap stuff that I'm trying to sell right now. That I was like, I didn't even know I owned half this stuff. But I think every year you almost have to go through your hobby room and just do a cleanse.
What army do I not like this year?
Yeah, like my vampire counts. If the right offer came by, you could probably get about 4,000 points of vamps off me.
Why would anybody want to buy that?
Like Kings of War.
That's another option. That could be a Kings of War army, but then I'd be one of those guys that's playing a game and not investing in the company. So, not sure how I feel about that right just yet. But I might just cater in anyway just to play it. So, because I've been hearing like that seems like the go-to game. Like the guys at Unplugged, I saw on Twitter they were recording like a video battle report for Kings of War. You guys haven't done any at OnePlus.
We've done one.
You've done one, but
yeah.
Clarence has played like 20 games of it or something ridiculous, and he's loving it. John Chasney from Vermont's been playing it like crazy and pushing it. So
yeah, the Mantic guys are doing battle reports on their YouTube channel now as well. If you want to see how the game plays,
I saw a few of them. Yeah,
it feels like from playing one game, mind you, and watching battle reports, it feels very similar to Fantasy, which in my mind is a good thing.
Yeah, a very good thing. So here, just give me 1 second. I'm getting a weird reading on my recording. So we'll take a quick 2. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Sorry for Jamie in the live feed. So it's a good time, I guess, to say hi to anybody in the live feed. How is it going, guys?
Hey, we got, I think, two people logged in anyway, so welcome to the stream, guys.
Oh, I didn't retweet you.
No wonder. Nobody loves me on Twitter. I have like very few followers.
I don't have any. I don't have any either. Don't worry about it.
I thought you had a ton, Ron.
No, I have none.
Really?
I just mock people on my Twitter feed.
Okay, I'll retweet it right now. Maybe we'll get some more. So unprofessional.
It is pretty bad.
Your recording working okay now?
Just give me a sec.
Jamie says, "Hey, you guys."
Nice. So what's going on here? What's happening?
Sorry.
All Chris's fault. That's all I need to know.
That's firing off. It's usually all Chris's fault.
I think it's only recording me.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, I think it's only recording me. Okay, I'm gonna have to drop and then come back. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Goodbye.
The joys of technology. Nothing can ever be easy. It is why we can't have nice things, you're right. But hopefully we'll soon have nice things. Ahoy, hoy, hoy.
You guys say something?
I'm saying things.
Okay, Ron, say something? Or did he walk away for a minute?
Can you now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's back now.
What the hell's that? I can hear.
I don't know. Everything sounds good to me.
Do we need to re-record that intro?
Can I get the audio off your recording, or does that not work?
You'll have to watch the stream recording and rip it from that somehow. So not recording to MP3 or anything. But you can definitely pull it from it. Should be good enough quality. Probably better than what we have on Skype. I'm using a better microphone. Actually, no, I'm using the shitty microphone for the stream.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, yeah, so there's only 2 in the chat, right? So you guys are going to have to re-listen to part of the intro. Sorry, guys.
I think they'll be okay with it.
If not, we'll give them a hug at the next event.
Yeah, we apologize for the technical difficulties.
Okay, so now, I can't see your video, Logan.
Oh, there we go. I gotta fix your capture now.
How long were we on? For 5 minutes?
10?
Oh.
Yeah, 10-ish.
Is this how your live feeds always go, or?
No, this has never happened before. So I'm probably going to blame you 100%.
Good. Excellent.
No,
Excellent.
we've had no trouble whatsoever lately. Okay, so we'll get right into it.
Good to go here.
Good to go here, man.
Okay, we'll just do the intro, and then we'll do the hobby thing at the end. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. We're going to redo the intro. We're going to skip the hobby section, and then we'll come back to it at the end when nobody's online anymore. Okay, so good evening, and welcome to CanHammer, your stop for Warhammer 40k from the Great White North. Today's show is episode 64. It's a 40k show all about the new Tau and a 40k event that we attended in Montreal, Quebec. We're talking about Tau again because it's Talktober, which is the Tau. You're getting all the releases and all the attention. Just for new people that are listening, we always give the general topic of game of concern at the beginning of the episode, so that if you are not interested in 40k, you do not have to follow us. We do AOS and other gaming-related podcasts if you want to check out our back episodes on iTunes. So as usual, I am the host, Chris. I am at CanHammer Chris on Twitter, and I am joined from Ottawa, Ontario by...
Logan from OnePlus Armor. It's at OnePlus Logan on Twitter.
And back by popular demand, Mr.
Ron McCallum. I'm back. Back, baby. Back.
Spiking his mic as usual. Okay, so...
That's right.
Our website is canhammer.com if you want more information and to see our iTunes feed, etc. like that. This is the 3rd time we are streaming from the OnePlus Armor Twitch channel. Twitch is an online kind of video game streaming site. They basically stream Warhammer 40k, Warhammer, AOS, Kings of War, whatever games, War Machine. And this is kind of like our radio show that we do on there every other Tuesday. So usually about twice a month, some months 3.
Those are good months if we get 3 in. Those are the really, really good months.
Yeah, or we don't run out of download space. Okay.
You got to find the super secret OnePlus Armor streams where you see Logan pleasuring himself. Those are the ones you got to find. You gotta get specific money. Send them $10 a month to
Those
Logan.
don't exist. We're not.
You can send us money, but surprisingly, that actually hasn't happened on stream yet.
That's too bad. Don't worry. There you go.
No accidents.
No accidents.
Okay, so we're going to jump right into the news. First thing, we're going to talk about AOS news. And there is
None.
Nothing has come out in the last 2 weeks. Not even any bundles, no books. So it looks like the AOS releases are over. And so even though the summer came heavy and fast with AOS, There seems to be nothing there. So we'll move on to 40K. So the first thing we want to talk about is the thing that sold out in what, a day, Logan?
7 minutes.
Was it 7 minutes?
7 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the
new Tau fortification. So it's the Tau Tidewall Rampart. We got the rules up here on the stream under Ron's face. There we go.
Nice.
So this is the new thing that's come out. So basically, we've already got all the stuff from Stronghold Assault. This is the first Xenos specific fortification that's come out,
which is awesome.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is that this thing is basically a fortification network, but doesn't have the rule of being a fortification network. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Basically, it's two parts of a Tidewall shield line, one Tidewall gun rig, and one Tidewall drone port. All of these can be taken as individual things. Theoretically, there aren't individual rules yet. There's only the rule for the whole rampart right now. So we'll see what happens with that. Basically, when you have this, if you have no enemy units on it, it can move up to 6 inches in the movement phase and take whatever is on it with it. Anything that is behind it and passes a cover save on a 6, it reflects the shot at the same strength. Reflects the shot at the same AP and does either a randomly allocated wound or an automatic glancing hit against whatever shot it.
Ooh, that's not bad, man.
Yeah, and that's irrespective of range too. So if you've got your Basilisk sitting in the far corner of a table, 72 inches away, and it shoots, you can reflect that shot straight back at it through like 10 buildings.
Well, let's be honest, nobody has a Basilisk.
No, I know, but just it's an interesting rule. But what's that, Ron?
So what you're saying is Tau is good?
Yeah, well, this seems to be good for that. And then for the specific stuff for the Rampart, where you have all of these, any Tau model that is on the Rampart gets to reroll 1s to shoot. And for any Tau unit that's in the telemetry relay, which is the drone port, the little circle bit you can stand in, they can choose a target that's within line of sight, and then all of the models firing from the gun rig, which is the twin-linked railgun, get +1 ballistic skill, tank hunter, and monster hunter.
That's pretty nifty.
It's pretty neat.
So this thing sounds decent. How many points was it again?
265.
For fortification, that's a lot of cheddar.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And it retailed in, so it is only sold in the kit together. Retailed for, what is it, $180 Canadian?
Something like that, 180, 190.
And the prices obviously vary by country. So that seems, for a 200 point, it's almost $1 a point, I guess. I don't know if that's reasonable or not, but it's sold out in 7 minutes, so you can't get it. And then GW has released that the only way to buy it in the future is piecemeal. So you can buy pieces of it. You'll never be able to buy the box of the whole thing put together.
Yeah, and I think most people that bought this are probably kicking themselves because the rules didn't even leak until after this thing went on sale. So anybody who bought it might be a bit tough off, because I think for a vast majority of people who are going to use any part of this, the fact that it's coming separately is a godsend, because they're just going to pick up the shield line. The rest I really don't think is worth the points.
That's for gamers, though. Like if you own a Tau army, I could see a lot of people buying this for their display board, buying it for their table.
This would be amazing for a display board or as a terrain piece or something. But yeah, I'm just speaking from the gamer perspective. I'm not really into the rest of it. So, yeah, I think I definitely will be picking up the shield line when it comes out. Being able to reflect stuff against vehicles and get automatic glancing hits is amazing.
Yeah, I could put my Eldar bikes behind it.
Still 200 bones.
Well, no. So if you take, there's independent point costs as well. So the shield lines are 60 points, the drone port's 60, and the gun rig, which is the twin-linked railgun, is 85.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, though. The only thing that kind of bugs me, and this is not, I'm always trying to be positive, but so this box comes out for $180. I would like to see what the price is for them individually. So usually you don't save a lot of money by buying these bundle deals, I'll call it. But
65, 65, and 60. That's exactly how much it's going to be.
Yeah, so you're not going to save any money, then that's totally fine. But let's say this deal gave you like a $30 discount. That would kind of tick me off that it was a limited edition bundle.
that would be a bit annoying. But
if,
knowing GW, I don't think that's going to be the case.
yeah, if it's the exact same price, like Ron said, 60, 60, 65, it's like, well, whatever. I'll just buy the one that helps my army the best.
Exactly.
So that's cool. So the next thing was the limited edition Ethereal came out, and he can only be purchased in a bundle. Now, he's a weird-looking model. What do you think of that guy?
I'm not sold on it. So the model itself is cool, because the Ethereal's an old model. It's kind of boring. The old limited edition one was badass. Like, it was dynamically posed. It was pretty cool looking. So this guy's, in that same line. It's a more dynamic pose than just the basic guy standing there being boring. I've got a picture up on the stream, actually, already.
Okay, good. You're super professional.
Yeah, this guy's from the Infiltration Cadre box, and that's the only reason I'm not too hot on him, because I need an Ethereal for my army. But I don't need a $130 Ethereal for my army.
Yeah, but the Infiltration Cadre comes with a Devilfish, a Stealth Team, a Pathfinder unit, and a Drone Squad, right?
Something like that. I think it's a Piranha, not a Devilfish.
Sorry, it is a Piranha. I just said the wrong word.
Yeah.
But that's not terrible if you're a new Tau player. All those things are totally functional. Well, I don't know how the new book is, obviously, because it's coming out, but they're all... In the old book, those are all somewhat functional units. I guess people would say the stealth teams aren't, but I always had a soft spot for them.
It's not bad value. It's not bad value at all. But I'm just pointing out that's the only way to get this model.
Yeah, and he's basically holding his staff, head up in the air on a hoverboard. So if you like Back to the Future, he could be a...
Who doesn't?
Yeah, and it looks like that is maybe a 40 mil base. Looks too big for a 32, so I think it's a 40.
And looking through, it looks like even the stealth teams are on 32 mils now.
That's good. They're way too big for the 25.
And then the next unit we're going to talk about is the Breacher Squad, which I thought looked like they were on 32s, but I think I'm mistaken. I think they're on 25s.
Yeah, they're the same as the Fire Warriors, so I'd be surprised if they went any bigger, because those models are already pretty tiny looking on 25s.
Yeah, so it could be just that they are smaller models than I remember. And so the Breacher team is basically a variant that they added into the Fire Warriors box. It's pretty cool. They have this thing, it's basically a Fire Warrior unit, 9 points. You can take a commander for 10 points. You can take some drones, EMP grenades. You can take a support turret with it, which I do believe is a somewhat new thing.
Yep.
They can take a Devilfish, and you can have bonding knives. Which bonding knives, I'm assuming the same thing as before. You can always rally under 25%. So the thing that makes them different is they're meant to be like a close range Tau, heavy hitting, kind of like not combat wise, but like close range shooting. Get in there and kind of eradicate things. Good in dense terrain. Good in a city fight board. Yeah. And they have this thing called a Pulse Blaster, which is very unique. You've seen a few models have a weapon like this, but it's basically has 3 modes of fire. They're all Assault 2. If it's range 10 to 15, it's Strength 4 AP dash. So it's essentially a crappy bolter at 15 inches. At 5 to 10 inches, it's Strength 5 AP 5, Assault 2 again. And at 5-inch range, it's Strength 6 AP 3. So it goes Super Saiyan at friggin' 5 inches.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
That's close, isn't it?
Yeah, that's close. Really that's what Logan's arguing. I look at that and I go, you know what? You put them behind a building and a wall on an objective. Nobody can come near them. A drop pod comes near them. They can jump out, kill a few Marines. But that's close for Tau.
Yeah. My concern with them is that if you're tossing that many... So if you only take the minimum size unit, which I think is...
5.
5, yeah. You're getting 10 shots at ballistic skill 3. So you're hitting with 4 to 5 of those. And you're probably wounding with 4 to 5. Yeah, probably 4 of them. So no matter what you're shooting at, pretty much, you're not going to kill it. And because you're not going to wipe out the entire unit, and then you're shooting back at something that has 4 up with toughness 3, that unit's going to... It's a single swing, and then it's dead. It's a glass cannon.
That's 45 points, though, right?
It's 45 points, but if you want that unit to be effective in any scenario other than what you said, where they're sitting backfield waiting for something to come to them... First off, you're vulnerable to barrage, thunderfire cannons are just going to erase you, same way they do with everything. But if you're going to be putting them so they're actually moving up and going forward, you have to put them in a Devilfish, and you're going to want more than 5 of them. So right away, you're at 80 points for the Devilfish, plus the base size of that unit, you're at 125 points. That's the same cost as 2 Crisis suits that can deep strike with fusion or rapid-firing plasma guns or missile pods.
But you're assuming that the Devilfish, because you haven't seen it leak, is it the same?
It's still the same points.
Okay, I didn't know if that was leaked or not, because I was like, you're assuming that it doesn't get the, what's it called, the Eldar tank there.
The Wave Serpent.
I have 3 of them, and I just can't remember the name.
Yeah.
It's getting the Wave Serpent.
So the only thing that's been leaked is the point cost.
So like it could have some kind of shield. I'm just saying, could be invisible.
Yeah, if the Devilfish has been buffed, these guys will be amazing. All we know right now is that the point cost is the same. That's in the White Dwarf that's coming out this week, this coming Saturday. But the stuff that got leaked is too small to see. So. Depending on what the sport, maybe they've added new vehicle systems and we've had hollow fields or serpent shields or some crazy shit now.
So I'm kind of like, I understand your point. It's even Ron said it's too close. Like 5 inches is like that's like a dick length away, man. That's close.
I don't know about you, but
it's too short. It's too long. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, too long. But anyway, because that's the new unit, I had to get a perverted joke in there at least once. Come on.
That's how you make Chris Haynes smile. Just say something perverted and gross.
That is true.
Okay, so the next thing too is they've released a bunch of formation bundles. We kind of talked about one of them. There's nothing with overwhelming savings. It seems like the ones that have really good savings just sell out and are gone, and then you never see them again, and they come up every so often. But that's it. So any other comments about the new releases for this week or last 2 weeks?
Yeah, the one thing I'd like to say for the new, I can't even remember the name of it, is Warzone something or other. The 2 new boxes, there's Burning Dawn and the Infiltration Cadre. So there's the Tau one and I think it's Raven Guard or something like that.
The Raven Guard one, yeah.
Yeah, Raven Guard. Warzone Apophis or something. No, that's Mini Wargaming's thing. Anyway, they seem to really be pushing this as something that's bigger than just a box. Like there's a limited edition book set for it. It's 2 hardcover books in a sleeve like we had with the End Time stuff. It's kind of crazy. So I'm interested to see if that's something they're going to be going more towards, which sort of worries me because that's how Age of Sigmar works. But if it means we get these cool bundles with new formation rules and stuff, and we start seeing units that don't see play start to get good rules through formations, I'm all for it.
So I have the information. It's Shadow Force Solak. It is a box set that contains a Space Marine Task Force dispatched to capture the limited edition Tau Ethereal model. His name is Ondu, and it has a 32-page campaign book that covers their mission. Within the box, you'll find 12 Space Marine miniatures, including 5 Vanguard veterans, 5 Stern Guard veterans, a land speeder. The set represents Captain Solak's Raven Guard Mission Elite. So that's what it is. So it looks like that those 2 boxes go hand in hand to be kind of like what the old starter sets used to be.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, they're allowing you to spend, I don't know if they're half the money cheaper, but you're getting a little bit more toys for 1 army instead of 2 kind of half armies.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like so that comes up to it. Ron, do you prefer a starter set with 2 armies, or would you prefer kind of like a bigger starter set but being able to choose between multiple, like have like them separate, like, you know what I mean?
So are you trying to say, so let me put this in an example of what we have right now. So you got Battle for Skull Pass, which contain both dwarves and goblins, right?
Yeah.
That's one set, or the 40k one, which was whatever that one. The
Black Reach, Orcs and Space Marines, and then the new one was Dark Angels and Chaos Marines.
Yes. So you got those 2, which is 2 different armies, which you can split with 2 people. Or would you prefer something like a battalion box, and then you just go, that's what you got? Is that the question you're asking me right there?
Yeah, like what they're kind of doing now is they have a campaign book and a Tau force and a Raven Guard force with the story fluff, just like Black Reach had like the whole story fluff, but now they're separate. So you could be like, well, I only want the Tau. I don't want to have to buy 2 of them and split with my buddy.
I prefer both, because then you can go into the other ones too. But to be honest with you, if I could have one or the other, I would take the 2 armies, because then it gives you a choice. And you can also buy it and just start playing right away, right?
Yeah, so you prefer like the kind of board game style starter set, like the AOS starter set, let's say.
Yes, the AOS starter set was awesome. It's just too bad they haven't put anything into the game to support it, but the box was awesome.
Well, they've put enough. You're still bitter about the army building guidelines, but they've supported AOS like nobody's business. And if they support this Tau release like they supported the Stormcast Eternals, this Tau army is going to be like off the top. Like they're going to have tons of cool models.
They've supported the models, yeah. They haven't supported the rules. The rules aren't up to where they should be yet. They will. I don't have no doubt that they will be. And you're right. The models they've been releasing, I really like that new big gunship guy or whatever he is from Gangnam Wing or whatever it's called. That's a big gun.
So yeah, Logan just built one of those. What's your impression of the kit, the new kits? The I'm assuming they're the more digital Tau kits or whatever, like they're designed on a computer.
So the big thing I have to say about the new Storm Surge kit, color instructions.
Really?
And they are amazingly detailed. You can't see on Skype because my camera's in black and white there, but it's super high quality. They've got like all the different alternative things. It tells you when something's an option. It even points out what you want to pre-paint before you build it, because it's going to be a pain to do later. It's absolutely top notch.
That could be because the new policy, right, is we're a model company.
Yep.
So they're putting more effort into their people building and painting their kits.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
These instructions are a hobbyist dream. They are incredibly well done.
Awesome. I'm glad that we brought that up then. So check him out. Now, did he go together, like, did he have a lot of options, or was it like all the new kits where he comes and it's just the guy and there's very little to change up on him, but maybe a gun?
The big gun is interchangeable, and the support guns are interchangeable. Other than that, there isn't too much you can really do differently for it. The biggest thing with it is for the legs. It's very similar to the Riptide legs. So it's got sort of the... like for the bottom part of the leg, it has a notch that goes in. But you can just chop that off, same way you could with a Riptide. So you can pose this guy however you want, really.
Sweet.
Nice.
That's really nice. So I guess that's it for news. It's a lot shorter than normal, right?
Well, not a whole lot does come out.
No, just this Tau stuff we're waiting up for. So we'll go on to, I guess, upcoming events. So the first one coming up is Du Bois GT, which is in Rochester, New York. We've talked about in the last couple shows. That one's still up and coming. It's in November. It's 40K and AOS, as well as 8th edition Fantasy. So check that out. It's duboisgt.com. I usually just Google it and it shows up. That's that. And then I'll let Logan talk about his next event.
Yeah, so we have another 40K event coming up on November 21st. It's Power Fists and Psychers 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's going to be at a similar store to where we had it last time. It's at Multizone in Gatineau, Quebec this time. It is a full ITC sanctioned event, so we're using ITC comp. Everything for the scoring is on the ITC circuit, so we'll have those scores submitted probably next day. So as I said, full ITC comp, so super heavies are go as long as they're on the allowed list. All the info for it really is over at oneplusarmor.com if you want to check it out. Right now the event is sold out. We are trying to add more room, but even with additional room, there's still going to be a waiting list. It'll be a short one though. So if you are interested, check out oneplusarmor.com and get in touch with us.
Yeah, I'm on the waiting list. I'm pumped to play in it. It's ITC ranked too.
Yep.
Okay, so the next event it'll be November 14th. And it's in Montreal at L'Abyss, and it's run by the Northern Defenders guys, and it's an AOS tournament, I do believe, this time. So it should be a really good time. You can check that out by going to their website or hit up at @B_Steve on Twitter for more information.
That's sexy, man.
Yeah. There's also Kingston's running an AOS event. I do not have the date handy. I did see it on Facebook, and I couldn't find it again. So if you're a Kingston player, you can send me the info to that and check that out. Lords of War is the weekend after, so it would be November 21st, and Lords of War is a tournament in the Cooksville Royal Canadian Legion. It's Saturday and Sunday. This one, I do believe, is a Age of Sigmar tournament. So
the Kingston tournament is November 8th.
That's what it is, November 8th. The same weekend as Du Bois, November 7th and 8th. That's right. That's why I didn't mark it down on my calendar. So you going to any of those, Ron?
Nope.
Really?
Other than Du Bois. I'm going to Du Bois.
Okay, and Logan, you're just going to Du Bois as well, and P&P,
Du Bois
obviously?
and the one we're running. As most of the people on the stream know, I'm not huge into AOS.
Yeah, so we'll have to. I wanted to go to that Montreal one, but it's on my son's Christmas party, and then the Kingston one's obviously on the what's it called? The same weekend as Du Bois, and then Lords of War is like the weekend after. So who knows if I can even go to that one?
Yeah, Lords of War is down in southern Ontario, right?
Yeah, it's in Cooksville's near Toronto.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Oakville, pretty much Mississauga.
Okay.
Yeah,
Beautiful Mississauga.
Yeah, Mississauga's a really nice place. Okay, so that's it for events. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back to talk about Chaos Ludique. You son of a bitch. That sucks. Okay,
Thanks.
So take a 2 minute to get water, whatever you need. So it's going to be a short show, I guess, unless my clock's wrong.
Oh, what are we at? 8:30. Oh, yeah.
The last two have
That'd
gone
be
for 90 minutes.
Well, no need to do that.
I'm okay with a shorter show. It's interim, right? It's an hour. We'll do some Q&A if there's enough people on the stream.
Yeah, we got a couple folks in there.
So yeah, so start thinking up your questions now, guys, if you're in the stream listening, and then we'll get to them. So sorry about that technical difficulty again earlier in the show. It did disrupt how we do things a little bit, but we'll try to improve for next time. Okay, are you both good to go again?
I'm always good to go, man.
Oh, that's a good thing. We can talk about that at the during Q&A, Kieran. The new Eldar stuff.
Okay, I'll be right back. One sec, sorry.
Sure.
Fuck.
You okay there, Ron?
Yeah, I'm fine. I gotta buy Samuel, and he's only web store exclusive. So it pisses me off because now I gotta buy something else so I don't have to pay for shipping.
That's how they get you
Actually,
every time.
I don't need to buy something else. I'm sure the shipping's not that bad. How bad is the shipping?
I think it's like $15 flat rate.
Mother truckers.
Yeah.
I might as well buy something else. What do I gotta
Yeah.
go over? Is it $85 I gotta go over?
60, I thought. It's not very much. I might be thinking the US store, though. Chris knows. He orders from them all the time.
What, for free shipping?
Yep.
Yeah.
Free shipping right now in Canada, I do believe, is $100 Canadian.
Holy crap, it went up?
Yeah, it went up a while. It was 75 like a few years ago. It might be 75 still, but
No, it's 80.
is it 80?
It's 80.
Okay, it's gone up.
yeah.
That's not too bad.
To be fair, $80 is very easy.
It's like two
to
things.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got 2 brushes, paint, spray can, and the mold line tool, which is the most amazing GW invention ever.
Yeah, that's good. I want to get one of those.
Well, maybe I'll get one of those then.
It is free if you ship to a store, but I don't think there's a store anywhere near Ron.
No.
Yeah, there is.
No?
There's there's London. It's
Oh,
half hour.
Oh, I thought you were further away than that.
No.
No, I'm right in the middle of everything.
Okay.
London, you can go to London, or you can go to. There will be one in Kitchener eventually.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
it's-
you guys
it's free,
ready then?
Free shipping for any value if you go to a store. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so
It's $21.
yeah, it's $21. So Ron is yelling about the mold line tool. It's $21, but I think it's worth it if you're serious about the hobby.
It costs $2. Fuck. Better be amazing.
He spiked it. You gotta stop spiking your mic, man.
Well, I can't help it. I'm mad. $21, Chris. $21.
Okay, we're
right, I'm
gonna
done.
start. Okay, he's done his rant. We can rant more later.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back, and we're gonna talk all about an event that Logan and I went to. Ron could not make it because it was on Thanksgiving weekend, and that would get him shot.
Yep, it sure would.
Like, we used to make a whole weekend of this event. We'd go down with a huge crew from Ottawa and like 4 or 5 Cornwall guys. Maybe not that many, but that's an exaggeration of Cornwall guys. There's not even that many. But we used to go down to this event, Chaos League, every year and just party so hard that we would like all underperform because we'd be so hungover. Because when you're in Montreal it's crazy, right? It's like the party city of Canada. Legal drinking age is 18. It's just wild. So anyway, this event happens on Thanksgiving weekend in Canada, which is in October. For you that live in the States, we celebrate Thanksgiving as far away from Christmas as possible so that we get, less of that holiday crash than you guys do. And so this event was 2 days. They had doubles and singles for AOS, Ninth Age. They had 40K doubles and singles. They had War Machine tournaments. It was just a whole heavy on kind of tournament style convention, like a super mini Adepticon. The guys from the Northern Defenders run it. They used to be two separate clubs that got together to do it. One was Club Chaos and one was Northern Defenders, but since AOS came out, I guess the Northern Defenders absorbed Club Chaos or whatever, and so now they're one group. Does that sound about right to you, Logan?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay.
So how did they absorb them? Why did they absorb them? Just because
I think
AOS died?
No, I think they just overlapped in personnel. So I think it was a style of convention where just, there was 2 or 3 guys that kind of wore hats in both clubs, and then they combined, so there was no point in having a separate organization with logos, and you know how it is, right? Like,
yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to combine and work together. So
fair enough.
I'm sure Steve has more to that story, but there's probably more to it, but that's what it is. So that's what it is. It was a tournament. I could not go for the doubles. I could only go for the singles 40K on the Sunday, but luckily our correspondent, Mr. Logan, could go for the doubles.
And I was only there for the doubles.
So it's kind of nice. We can cover both sides of it, even though we never actually met each other.
Yeah, so doubles was on the Saturday. Can't remember what the date was for it. It was 4 rounds. It was 1,000 points per player, and within your 1,000 points, you couldn't duplicate. It was basically ITC, but without duplicate formations within your 1,000 points, and you could take 1 super heavy per team, basically. So I went with Danny from 1+ Armor, and we ran Khorne Demonkin and Black Legion. No super heavies at all, actually, despite the fact I had my Brass Scorpion sitting in the back of a car.
That's a shame. You should have brought it out.
Yeah. Well, I was planning to for the singles, but the stars didn't quite align on that one. So, So we had a pretty good time. We played against other Ottawa guys first round, actually. So that was a pretty fun game. That was Josh and Jamie. Our second round was against.
Sorry, before you go into that, did you guys you took double CAD, right?
Yes, we ran 2 CADs. One for Demonkin, one for Black Legion. No formation.
Can you just go through your list, because your list was actually really unique, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so this list gets weird looks whenever people see it, and it always performs extremely well, which I'd like to think is the talent of my partner, and definitely not me. So it's just combining everything together rather than going through each CAD. It's 2 Chaos Lords with Mark of Khorne on Juggernauts, with Power Fist and Lightning Claw, with 4-up invulnerable saves, and Eternal Warrior. So for the Demonkin, that's the Bloodforged Armor, which also gives him Feel No Pain. And on Black Legion, it's the Skull of Kurnagar, which also gives him Adamantium Will.
Yeah.
Then it's for troops across the 2, we've got 2 units of 8 Bloodletters, a unit of Chaos Chosen, with a champion who has a power axe or something, which is free, and then 1 guy in the unit who has a power fist, and then a unit of cultists, 10 cultists, with no mark. For fast attack, it's 2 units of 10 fleshhounds, and I think that's it. Then heavy support, we've got a Soul Grinder with Mark of Khorne, just because it fit in there. A Fire Raptor with the Reaper Autocannon sponsons, Dirge Caster, and the Screams of Lugganath Legacy of Ruin. So the Dirge Caster is a 12-inch range.
Can I stop you there for a second? Because that's a weird... What does that thing do?
So the Fire Raptor is a Forge World model from Imperial Armor 13, for the Chaos one, anyway. It is an Armor 12 on all sides flyer with 4 hull points. It has a... I can't remember the names of all the guns, but the main gun is some sort of bolter. Avenger Mega Bolter or something. It's 7 shots, strength 6, AP 3. Then it has 4 missiles, which are strength 8, AP 3, and 2 Reaper autocannon batteries that can independently target. So they don't even need to fire at the same thing as the flyer itself. As the main weapons. They can shoot at anything, and both of them can fire independently. And that's 4 shots, twin-linked, strength 7, AP 4. For extra points, you can make those rending if you want. I don't think it's worth it I think it's 35 points. And then... what else have? It also has strafing run, which is the really crazy thing. So all these guns, except for the missiles, are twin-linked, and then you add strafing run on top of that. So it's BS 5 against ground targets. It's pretty nuts.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So now...
And you catch people off guard with that list.
Every time. And then the other fun thing is all those chosen... Oh, as well, there's also a Herald of Khorne in there as well, just with a Hellblade. The Chosen and the Herald go into a Land Raider, just a basic Chaos Land Raider with Dozer Blades and a Dirge Caster. And then basically the idea is everything is relatively durable. We can summon stuff back with Blood Tithe points if it dies. We can deep strike all over the board with the Bloodletters and everything. And we've got really nice firepower from the Soul Grinder if we just want to sit back a little bit. And then everything moves 12 inches or more per turn and can just crush anything it hits.
Wow. Thinking about that Fire Raptor, I'm like, that adds enough firepower to that list.
Yep.
Like, just enough just to catch a few, light things, but that's for a Chaos Space Marine army where it's really hard to get a decent shooting list, that's a lot of firepower. How many points is it?
It's expensive. With the way we had it kitted out, it's 240, something like that, 245.
That is expensive.
But that's with a 25-point upgrade on the Dirge Caster to make it 12-inch. And that's worth every point every time.
Yeah, even if one unit runs off per game, that's well worth it.
Yeah.
Because that's the -1 leadership within 12 inches.
Right? No, the Dirge Caster is you can't fire Overwatch.
What am I thinking of then? I'm thinking of the sister...
No, you're thinking of the Warp Flame Gargoyles, maybe?
Yeah, okay, like sorry about that. Yeah, it's been a while since I've cracked my Chaos Space Marines out and actually cared enough.
Dirge Caster shuts down Overwatch, and it's nasty. It's really nasty against Tau, having been on the receiving end of that a few times, because it completely negates supporting fire.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I guess that's there for Tau, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Chaos Space Marines aren't good, Chris?
No, they're arguably the worst book, even behind Tyranids.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Well, but he's talking Demonkin, and I'd say they're middle tier, right, Demonkin?
Yeah, they're a solid mid tier, I think. They've got some really good toys. They suffer in the meta overall against some armies. Anything really psychic heavy, they can have a hard time with. So just for reference, this is basically the same list plus a Soul Grinder that Danny ran at Bloodbath a couple months ago, and he got, I think, 7th or 8th overall running it. So it's a very strong list. The only game he lost actually was to Mike Gary. What's his last name?
Didn't Kieran play him and beat him?
No, Kieran. He went undefeated except for the one game against Mike's Raven Wing list.
Oh yeah, Mike Gary. Yeah.
He had a couple close games though, because he played the heavy hitters the whole time. It was Dan Platt first round, then Kieran, then someone else.
Dan Platt's
Wes Pauly, and then
is Dan Platt arguably the best player in Ontario?
He seems to keep pumping out the wins.
Yeah, I would say he's arguably the best player in Ontario, and of course you always have to add the arguably in there because you don't really know, but he wins almost every event by significant margins. Mm-hmm. He also scores if you're looking at it from the total hobby, and I don't want to fluff him up there too much, but he does have one of the nicest painted armies at most events.
Yeah. I know that for a fact.
So he goes in there, because you won a best painted trophy with borrowing his army, yeah. So he basically goes in there, gets max paint points, and then he can play, and his lists are pretty filthy, right? Yeah. So, yeah, he's right up there. I'd put it. He puts the effort in though. Like, as a tier organizer, he's the guy that emails me rules questions about formations and things like that before he takes them, and he's the guy that makes sure that all the check boxes are checked, and
and he's been playing forever. He's got a vast collection too.
Yeah.
And when you work for GW, it's almost as if you get to read the books and study all day.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so we'll move on. So you first round you played the Ottawa guys. How'd that go? They had what, Eldar bike spam?
It was bike spam and Tigerius with the Thunderfire Cannon the 3 Thunderfire cannons in 1 unit. So basically, you get prescience, ballistic skill 6 Thunderfires raining down on you all game. That game actually ended with max points for us due to a deployment mistake by them. So with the Thunderfires, the Tech Marines, you can fortify any terrain piece, right, to add +1. So they wanted to stack everything in a ruin. And as it turned out, that basically gave us a free line straight into Tigurius and a few tactical squads. So it was over pretty quickly. So we had time to grab a beer after that. Game 2, we played against a team called Blip on the Wadar, and these guys had just a filthy list. It's the only list actually we've come up against, even like theory crafting so far, that we just can't figure out how to beat. And it's Zard Snark with a huge unit of bikes with a couple knobs in it, and then Warlock Farseer with a bunch of Eldar bikes, a couple Hornets, and a few other things. Two trucks full of the orcs with the missile launchers, whatever it is.
Yeah, tank hunters.
Tank hunters, yeah. So that was nasty. There was an issue in the players pack that I don't want to get into too much. But basically, we lost that game on deployment because one of the scenarios wasn't translated properly. So, unfortunately, we just had to scrape together whatever points we could. So we were only able to pull out 6 points out of that scenario.
So just because you talked about them, that orc army got the highest battle points.
Yes, by 10 over us.
Yes, 106 battle points.
Yeah.
That's amazing for orcs.
Yeah, well, with the other armies that were there, admittedly, a lot of people showed up with pretty soft lists.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that army was rough because with Zard Snark, well, first off, the whole unit, you get Dust Cloud, which is +1 to your cover save, if you turbo boost at all. And then they all have Skilled Rider because they're from Zard Snark's detachment. So you basically got a unit of 30 orc bikers with 2 up cover saves coming at you.
Scary.
With 6 power fists and feel no pain and everything and fearless. It's intimidating. Oh, and they had a Wraith Knight. That was the other thing.
Okay, so
yeah, but yeah, no, we could have pulled out a win, but unfortunately, with how the deployment worked, because the scenario, the way it was written, we were down to only 6 points there. So following that, we had a game against it was Dark Eldar and Imperial Guard, and they had a Stormlord with a Blob Squad with a whole bunch of multi-meltas or melta guns in it, and then a couple Raiders and the Grotesques, I think, the big beasts with the 4 of Feel No Pain or whatever it is.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, and that game actually went really well for us. We, despite some odd dice rolls, so we took a gamble with our deployment, hoping that they would counter deploy with the Stormlord trying to take out our Chaos Lords. So we put everything heavy on one flank, and sure enough, the Stormlord plopped down right in front of us. So we just scouted up, and beginning of our turn 2, we had 2 Chaos Lords and a bunch of Power Fists from the Chosen charging into it with the Dirge Casters and other guys inside. Well, I don't think they could Overwatch anyway, but they couldn't. So we went in and flubbed every single roll. We did 1 whole point with 19 Power Fist attacks.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was rough, but there was a huge misplay by our opponent. Like, we were legitimately worried. And then we just sort of looked at each other and went, okay, well, I guess we've got this in the bag. All of his blob squads got out and assaulted. I don't know why he did it. He basically gave us the game on turn 2.
Did they have power weapons on the sergeants?
Nothing.
Power axes? No, like that's the thing. Usually they have power axes.
He may have had like one guy with a power axe, but yeah, it didn't work. Anyway, let's put it that way. So that game was ours, I think, top of 4. And then our final game was a ton of fun. It was against a team called Lust and Pox, which was a Slanesh and Nurgle demons team with a pretty nasty setup. Basically, they had a whole bunch of Furies with a Slanesh Herald in it, with the locus of whatever it is for challenges, beguilement.
That's
so
interesting, yeah.
It was going around trying to snipe characters. And again, that one came down to a couple misplays and a couple dice rolls. but it was neck and neck until the last round because it was Relic. And last round, with 5 minutes left in the round, the Fire Raptor managed to snipe the last hull point off a Decimator engine that had the Relic, dropped it, and it turned the game from being pretty close to max points for us.
Nice.
Solid.
But that was a really fun match, so shout out to those guys. That was a really fun game. They had an absolutely beautiful army.
And so that was your last game, right?
Yeah, that was the last game.
So I should spoil it. The results, Blip on the Wadar was number 4. They got a 0 on paint.
Yeah, they had a ton of unpainted models.
And that's a 30% painted. And then it was Severin Dominant in 3rd, Lust and Pox in 2nd, and Logan and Danny 1+ armor in 1st.
Yep. So the Severin Dominance one was the guys at the Stormlord, and then Lust and Pox, of course, were the last guys there.
So you played the top 4 dudes there all day.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really awesome. So then on the Sunday, I showed up, did the singles tournament. And I was like, okay, this is going to be good for me because I had my bike spam list, 6 units of 3 scatter bikes. I took a Farseer on a bike, an Autark on foot, D battery, Wraith Knight, and then they said you can take 2 formations and you can duplicate 1 formation. So I said, Aspect Host, I'll take 2 of those, please. One of them was 3 units of 5 Warp Spiders, and then the other one was a unit of Swooping Hawks and 2 units of Dark Reapers. So with that formation, they all get +1 ballistic skill, so they all hit on 2s, and you have to take an X-Arch for them, or an X-Arc, sorry, but it's not a big downside. You know, the Hawks, I take one anyway. He makes his points back. The Dark Reapers take them anyway. They make their points back. He makes his points back way more. You know, the Spider ones, that's kind of the slight waste of points to upgrade that guy, but it ended up working out anyway to get these 2 formations in. So first round, I go up, I play a Decurion Necron guy. It's basically objectives. You have to score. I basically chose the one where I had to score an objective every turn. So there's 4 objectives, and every one that I held I got points for throughout the game. He chose score at the end of the game as his. I don't know. Time ran out. We got to turn 3. It was also Relic. He grabbed the so turn 3, I finished mine. They called 15-minute warning. So I had finished my turn 3. He got turn 3. He grabbed the Relic, grabbed all his table quarters, and then he ended up tying the game.
Did you feel you got slow played, Chris?
Nah, it was both of our faults. Plus, I think the round started a little bit late.
The other thing to note too, for all of these, for doubles and singles, it was 2 hour and 15-minute rounds. So it was really tight. You had to play absolute top speed if you wanted to finish your games.
Yeah, so I didn't finish. I don't think he slow played me, but it was still a matter of like I went from a potential of a perfect game to a minor loss. And I felt pretty gutted. But I was like, you know what? Even at War Masters, I wouldn't say I finished a lot of my games, but I was always going to time, and I'm not used to that. It's just the way that the nature of my army is. It moves in all phases. It's fast Eldar, has lots of shooting. You make lots of saves against all my shots. I have to play faster. And so that's kind of, I said, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to play faster. So I said, next game will be good. So I draw Dark Eldar, and he...
Get to turn 4?
Yeah, we finished. He tapped out, and we went to the bar and had a few beers. But he deployed too aggressively. So he had a 5+ to seize the initiative, which is because I had a Lords of War, so that's normal. But he I don't know what he was. He just put all his bikes on the line, and he deep struck, and it was like he was just too aggressive. And then I just mowed him off. I was like, he had enough terrain too. He could have hid his entire army or most of it. So I'm not sure what he was thinking. If he just wanted to. Maybe he was like banking on the seas because he knew it was going to be an uphill battle or something like that. But he just went really aggressive, and it worked out in my favor huge. I got max points. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I got max points and a draw. I'm going to maybe be able to submarine my way up last round. I'll be like, okay, I'll play somebody that, you know, just below the top, and then they won't be able to take my list. But it didn't work out that way. So I end up going up to the table, and I'm playing against... Max, and so he's arguably the best player in Quebec.
Yeah, he finishes top for a lot of it.
So he goes to all the big Northeast events. He was on the team that won the team tournament at Adepticon with what are the names? Is it Kopak and someone else?
Yeah, it's Tony Kopak and a couple other guys. It was team USA.
Yeah, the USA with the
Yeah.
EYEH. But anyway, so I draw max. I'm like, shit, this is not going to go well for me. But I looked at his list. I was like, you know what? It could actually. I think I got this. It was Marines. He had drop pods with the Stormhammer formation, so that's a lot of points. It'll come in and kill a few things, but that's still a lot. I happened to roll the Warlord trait where I could infiltrate 3 units, which is a huge help. So he also had was the Paladin Star with all
His
the
Drago
bells and
library
whistles,
and a couple other things.
and then he had Dread Knight. So I was like, okay, he had his Dread Knight up, and I was like, cool, I can get First Blood. I'll pick the objective where it's score per turn. So there was 6 objectives, and I said, so turn 1, I'll get First Blood. I'll put a guy on every objective. I'll be up 7 points. Boom, it'll be easy. And then he'll come in, he'll get like 3 or 4 points on me, and it won't be good, but I'll be ahead at least, and I'll be able to maintain my lead maybe. And so we set up, and he seizes the initiative on me. Comes in, Farseer dead, D battery dead, Warlock dead. So I have no psychic defense. Does a wound to my Wraith Knight, kills half of a unit of Dark Reapers, and I just went, oh. So I kind of had, I just kind of, you know what? I'm gonna play for it, and I kind of took a whole bunch of objectives with my bikes, and I just kind of moved around, hit everything, and just picked on the squads that were scary to me. So his Stormhammer came in, both assault squads gone. And then I went, okay, any of his grab weapons gone. And I basically killed his entire army except for his Paladin Star. And then I got really lucky in that he mishapped. So they went back in ongoing reserves, which saved 2 of my units.
Yep.
And I just kind of brought in my Warp Spiders, spread them around. They move really fast. I just kept taking points. And I actually minor won.
Nice.
So it was pretty close to a draw. It was a 30-0 system. And I ended up getting a 16 to a 14, even though he seized on me. And after the game, he said, yeah, man, if I wouldn't have seized, you probably would have just won handedly.
Yeah.
And he said, so it was kind of, your army's a good match for me. And I was like, well, Eldar's a good match for anybody, bro. So, yeah, so that was pretty good. So I ended up placing 4th place because I didn't finish a few of my Warp Spiders. They weren't fully done. So I ended up losing like 10 or 15 points of painting. And then Max got 3rd. Josh Chatton from Kingston got 2nd, yo.
Yep. Congrats, Josh.
Yeah. And then Sam Durant won it. So congratulations, Sam, man.
Nice.
Yeah, he played really well. And it was a fun tournament. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved the venue. Lunch was provided. It was St. Hubert's, which is always a good lunch. Except they always give you half of a hamburger bun, even though you get chicken and fries. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's a good event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would go back again next year. I've gone every year. It's a shame that they ran 9th edition in AOS, and then they dropped their AOS tournament to just go 9th edition, and I think nobody showed up for 9th Age.
2 people.
So they ended up dropping 9th Age.
Well, so they ended up running the event. They refunded the guys that showed up, though. But apparently there was some miscommunication, and they had been told by a big group of guys, 10 or so, that if they were going to drop one of them, because basically the decision apparently, and Steve, Dom, whoever, feel free to correct me, came down to, okay, we're going to run either AOS or 9th Age, which is your preference. And the message they had received was everyone who was in AOS said, yeah, if you cancel, we'll play 9th Age. And the guys who were in 9th Age said, we're just not going to bother if you cancel 9th Age. We're not going to come for AOS. As it turns out, apparently, all the guys who had said from the AOS side that they go play 9th meant the exact opposite of that. So when they canceled AOS, they lost like 10 people.
Well, that's the thing, too. They asked me, and I told them, I said, guys, I may not be able to come for the AOS tournament. It's on Saturday. I may have prior commitments. I said, I'm a maybe. I paid for it, though. I said, but if you guys go to 9th Age, I'm going to want my refund. Because, if it's AOS, I'd be willing to last minute go. And that's for personal reasons, guys. I just don't care for 9th Age. I like the 9th Age rule set. I just don't like what it does for the hobby. It's nothing personal. I love their tournament. So I told them that, and they said, okay, no problem. And they gave me a full refund. They said, yeah, we're going to go with 9th Age because we feel that we'll get more players.
Yeah.
And then it was the opposite. And if they would have went with AOS, they might have got 10, right?
Yeah, they might have. So I think that's probably why they're looking to do that for the events moving forward.
Go with AOS or
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe they made the mistake of offering the I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake I don't know what they listened to, but like rule of thumb is if guys haven't paid, because like those ninth age guys had to have all paid, right? If you're listening to 10 dudes that said they'll play ninth age, they should have all paid for the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they hadn't paid yet, then they're basically their opinion doesn't necessarily matter, right?
It's irrelevant because you haven't given me any money yet.
Yeah, so that could have been what happened is they had a 10-man club that was ready for ninth age, and they all said, yeah, ninth age or nothing, and then something came up because they had no money, they didn't commit, right? I don't know what happened, but I'm just like, that feels like something that could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your take on that, Ron? Would you play ninth age?
No.
Just AOS, right?
I'd stick with AOS. Why would I go with that? I don't know. The game's going towards AOS. Yeah. Rules-wise, there should be some more things I wish they would do, but I'd stick with AOS, see where it goes. I like the story. I've been reading a lot of the story, and the story's really good. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot, too. So that's cool. Logan, you going back next year?
We'll see. So
strong arm, yeah. I'll make you go.
Yeah, the moral of the story for me with this one is that because of the issue... Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. I've offered some assistance with the translation and proofreading of the player's pack. So if that gets sorted out, I'll definitely go back to the events. I mean, Steve's a friend of mine, and I'm on good terms with Dom as far as I know. So I see no reason to give them any sort of bad publicity. But I think there needs to be just
not to mention,
a little bit more.
Steve's probably one of the best looking guys I've ever met in my life.
He is. He's got hair comparable to Justin Trudeau. It's sexy.
Okay, so nobody gets that reference.
Nice.
Okay, so that's it for Ludique. I was happy with it. I got all my goals out of it. 3 practice games, had a great time.
Good.
So now we go to the part of the show called Q&A. So type your questions in to the chat. I guess we'll start with the new Eldar stuff that we missed in the news. Yeah. So this came out on Bowls, right?
Yeah, Battle Lost Souls. So they're redoing the whatever it was, Merimidra. I can't remember the name of the book. It's the one that has the Corsair's army in it. So I'll actually bring up the article here. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't know the Corsair stuff too much. But the big thing with it is that first off, there's a new Wraith Knight coming, Forge World Wraith Knight. It's not clear what the rules are going to be for it yet. I'm guessing more D because it's Eldar.
You never know, though. They might go more combat like they did with the Night Titans.
That's true. From the image I saw, it did have guns, though. So, either way, we'll find out soon enough. It'll be out soon. But the big news from this, apparently the leaks are also up on DACA. So the big news on this is, of course, the Corsairs are getting a new list, and they've got some crazy stuff. First off, they have their own perils chart. And
so let's talk about what the Corsairs are for any new, because there's a lot of people that just jumped to 40k from AOS. So what is a Corsair when you say that?
Sure. So Corsairs are basically a Forge World specific detachment, or not detachment, but army for Eldar. They're basically Eldar pirates. So not Dark Eldar, but Eldar. That's about the extent of what I know about them. I'm not big into the fluff.
That's pretty close to it, yeah.
Yeah. So the big thing with them for these rules is they're apparently really heavy into pistols. So everything can take 2 pistols. Whatever those are going to be is not clear yet. But the craziest thing I've seen is they have their own Perils of the Warp chart. And it is merciless. Like, if you perils with someone, you are done. Like, you lose that guy. On a 1, he goes under the control of your opponent.
Oh, that's rough.
For the rest of the game.
No.
And if you're in a unit, you're now in combat with that unit. So it basically locks the entire unit there for a turn.
That's actually scary, man.
Yeah. The 2 to 3, the entire unit gets pinned, and the opponent gets to choose the target of the psychic power.
Oh.
4 to 5, you have to take a morale check on 3d6. Take the 2 highest. Or fall back. And then the 6th result, which is normally the good one, right?
Yeah.
You perils on any doubles.
For the rest of the game.
For the rest of the game.
Oh, so that might almost, like, it's almost like they said, well, let's get rid of the psychic powers from the psychic power book, which is Eldar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems that way. So I do have the rules for the new Wraith Knight, thanks to Kieran in the chat here. It is shooting. It's 2 Hellstorm Strength 7 AP4 monofilament templates.
Sweet. So monofilament is the wound on initiative,
yes.
And on a 6 you ignore armor, or AP2.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. So the other big thing with this, of course, this was the Imperial Armor book that had the links in it originally. So the links stirred up a lot of hate in LVO last year and Bay Area Open, because this was before the Wraith Knight was the super heavy choice. So it got buffed and it went down in points. So it's now armor 12, 12, 11. I think previously it was 12, 11, 10, something like that, or even 11, 11, 10. It can turn into a flyer now and just zoom off the board if you want. But it only fires snapshots if it is flying. But the big thing is the pulse laser is now 3 shots twin-linked, strength D with ordnance, and the sustained one, whatever it is now twin-linked large blast ordnance. So it's nasty.
That sounds good. And that thing was always kind of nasty, but they've dropped it to heavy support now, right?
Yes, that's the other thing. It's not a super heavy anymore. So you can see these things, potentially 3 of them. I don't know if you necessarily want to. Okay, apparently it could fly before and was 11 all around. So I'm glad someone here knows what's going on.
Yeah, but nobody did. Usually what they would do is they would take...
Park it on the Sky Shield.
Kieran did do it, but you take the Sky Shield. Because what it does is it had a rule where on a 4+ your shot doesn't count.
Yep.
So you could put on the Sky Shield, get like a kick-ass cover save, and also ignore half the shots that would shoot at you. And the thing was nigh unkillable, right? I played against it at Adepticon, and we kind of just ignored it and let it kill a unit a turn. So
yeah, it was nasty. But yeah, with it not being a super heavy anymore, you're welcome to take 3 of these things now, or more, depending on what your attachments are.
That sounds rough.
It's rough. It's a rough tank.
It's going to be good. It's going to see a lot of them. So I understand, Chris, you're getting one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I was like, yeah, I kind of want one. I don't know if I want more than one, because, like, you know, it's no mobility. Well, I guess it is mobile now, like super mobile. But like I've never seen anybody fly it before. Usually they just leave it down and shoot till it gets killed. But maybe Kieran can correct me on that one. I don't know if he's ever found a need to fly it. But cool. So any other questions?
The only other question we've gotten is Chris's dick really only 5 inches? That's terrible.
I think the average in the world is like 4. I actually don't know. I've never mentioned it, so.
I added that's terrible. But the question was there.
Interesting. So any other questions in the Q&A?
I think that was it. I think he was just asking you how big your dick was.
Yeah. The inquiring minds want to know, Chris.
Well, I've never measured. I have no clue. I was just a joke that I was trying to be funny, and I guess I'm not funny.
Homework assignment for Chris tonight: measure how big your dick is.
That's not going to happen. I don't think I can do that because I don't want to end up getting depressed.
In an amazing murder-suicide, Chris Haynes.
Okay, so this is degraded. So I guess that's it. We're at a little over an hour. I think that's a good show length considering that the amount of releases the last 2 weeks has been quite low for what we're used to. So thanks, guys, in the chat. Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Logan.
Thanks for having me.
So if you want more information, go to CanHammer.com. You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. The video of this will be released on the OnePlus Armor Save YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/OnePlusArmor. The audio edited version with a song pick that we'll surprise you with will be put on iTunes this Thursday. So if you want to get this show 2 days early, you have to come on the live stream. If not, you get it on the Thursday of that exact week. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and have a good one.
Bye-bye.